And then finally, after so many years of feeling sick, not knowing what's wrong, feeling panicked and worried, the doctors finally realized what was wrong with her. She had fentanyl in her system. Fentanyl. Like, how scary is that? Because Tatiana did not take drugs. She didn't take fentanyl on her own, never in a million years. And Aurora and her best friend Lisa knew that as well. They knew that Tatiana would never do that. So the moment that the doctors said that she was on fentanyl, all three of the women were like, okay, well, how did she get it? How did it get in her system? Could she have been exposed by accident? What is going on here? It was all a huge mystery. However, the doctors, they didn't think that Tatiana had ingested this fentanyl by accident. And while they didn't come right out and say that it was possible that somebody might have been poisoning her, they did sort of hint at that as a possibility. They said that once she got out of treatment, once she got better, they suggested that she mix things up a little bit. Not stay at home as much, not be around the usual people in her life, kind of change up your routine. And see if anything changes. See if you still get sick, or see if maybe you don't. And I think it's safe to say that between this fentanyl situation and that Friendsgiving poisoning from a few years earlier, Tatiana and her friends were feeling very suspicious. They thought that somebody might be trying to really hurt her, but they weren't sure who. I mean, seriously, who would do something like that to someone? So for safety, they called the police and they told them everything that had been going on. They also got together all of Tatiana's prescription medication that she had been taking at that point for years. They said to the police, hey, can you do some testing on this? Maybe it's something in her prescriptions. Maybe the drugs are drugged. And sure enough, those prescription medications that she was on tested positive for fentanyl. So whoever had been doing this to Tatiana, it was somebody who had access to her medication. Somebody who could come into her home where she was feeling safe, get into the medicine cabinet or wherever she kept all of her things and poison her. Now, before she had left Johns Hopkins, the doctors there asked Tatiana if she knew anybody who might want to do something like this to her. Did she have any enemies? Did she have anybody who might benefit if she died? And right away, Tatiana told them no, she couldn't think of a single person who would want to hurt her. But for some reason, the question that they had asked, it stuck in her head. It made her feel a little bit paranoid. So now every interaction that she had with anyone, a friend, a coworker, a colleague, anybody, every conversation, she would ask herself, did this person poison me? Do they want me dead? And then one day, a very weird thought occurred to her. What if it was her husband? What if it was Sergio? Now, there was no particular reason for her to feel suspicious of Sergio. I mean, aside from that affair, which had been going on for a while and wasn't exactly new, their marriage seemed good. She really thought that he cared about her, and not to mention he said he broke it off with Nancy, that he was now devoted husband to her again, that he wanted to make things work. So there was certainly no reason for him to want her dead. Except once that thought popped into her head, she just could not shake it. The more time that went on, the more and more Tatiana became convinced that Sergio might have been slipping her fentanyl after all. But she couldn't prove it. She had no evidence. But by now, she was not trusting Sergio at all. So she ended up moving out of the house that she shared with him. Just like the doctors had recommended, change up the routine, stay somewhere else. And then shortly after that, she filed for divorce. Now, as Tatiana and Sergio were working out the terms of this divorce, he ended up making her an offer. He said he would give her $20 million, and then, only then, they could consider their marriage over. Which, let me just say, that is not a bad offer by any means. Except Tatiana knew that she stood to make a lot more money. Different sources quote Sergio's net worth as being somewhere between $153 million to $360 million. So, not that 20 million is anything to like bat an eye at and be like, no, thank you. But she also knew that she was entitled to more than likely probably like 5 times that amount at minimum. And keep in mind, Tatiana had spent their entire marriage of 30 years as a homemaker. She was taking care of the house, taking care of the family, taking care of the kids, the husband, everything. So according to her, if not for her help and support, Sergio never would have been able to even build that empire. So in her mind, she was entitled to half of his money, especially because she technically owned half of all of the businesses. She didn't work for them or have anything to do with their day-to-day running, but they were hers. And she wanted to make sure that she was getting everything that she thought that she deserved in their divorce.